Good evening and welcome to This Is The Day. It is the last Monday of 2020. Oh yes, the 28th of December. And my name is Sarah Otieno. I am so grateful that you chose to spend time with me this beautiful evening on Family TV and Family Radio. Now remember, you can always talk to us using the WhatsApp number 0786 316 316, SMS line 20316. Now today being a Monday, we look at some of the current affairs that are happening, but today we want to look at the major thing that has affected our country in 2020, and we are talking about the COVID-19 pandemic that affected us. Now, it was just a couple of months into the new year when the first case of COVID-19 was reported in our country. And up to today, we are still reporting more cases and more fatality cases of the same virus, COVID-19. Now, our decisions were affected. Our daily life was affected. It's not life as usual for most of the people. And this year, as it comes to an end, we just want to look at some of the decisions, how our life was actually affected, and whether we made the right or the wrong decisions. We will be talking to one Alex Awiti, who is the founder of Alexander PR and Communication, in a couple of minutes, and also just getting to know how the year has been. Just a breakdown of how things have been in a couple of minutes. Remember, you can always join the discussion, and also as we talk about this thing that affects our life, I want to hear what you say will be about the discussion. Now, for now, we'll listen to a song, and this one is by Amy Grant. The name of the song is Breath of Heaven.
The COVID-19 pandemic has been stressful and isolating for many people. Gatherings during the holiday can be an opportunity to reconnect with family and friends. This holiday season, consider how your holiday plans can be modified to reduce the spread of COVID-19 to keep your friends, families, and communities healthy and safe. The following factors can contribute to the risk of getting and spreading COVID-19 at small in-person gatherings. Number 1.
Community levels of COVID-19.
High or increased levels of COVID-19 cases in gathering location, as well as in the areas where attendees are coming from, increase the risk of infection and spread among attendees. Family and friends should consider the number of COVID-19 cases in their community and in the community where they plan to celebrate when deciding whether to host or attend a gathering. Number 2.
Exposure during travel.
Airports, bus stations, train stations, public transport, gas stations, and rest stops are all places travelers can be exposed to the virus in the air and on the surfaces. Number 3.
Location of the gathering.
Indoor gatherings, especially those with poor ventilation, for example, small enclosed spaces with no outside air, pose more risk than outdoor gatherings. Number 4.
Duration of the gathering.
Gatherings that last longer pose more risk than shorter gatherings. Being within 6 feet of someone who has COVID-19 for a cumulative total of 15 minutes or more greatly increases the risk of becoming sick and requires a 14-day quarantine. Number 5.
Number and crowding of people at the gathering.
Gatherings with more people pose more risk than gatherings with fewer people. The size of a holiday gathering should be determined based on the ability of the attendees from different households to stay 6 feet, that is 2 arms length apart, wear masks, and wash hands. Number 6.
Behavior of attendees prior to the gathering.
Individuals who did not consistently adhere to social distancing, wearing masks, hand washing, and other prevention behaviors pose more risk than those who consistently practice these safety measures. Number 7.
Behavior of attendees during the gathering.
Gatherings with more safety measures in place, such as wearing masks, social distancing, and washing hands, pose less risk than gatherings where fewer people or no preventive measures are being implemented. Use of alcohol or drugs may also alter judgment and make it more difficult to practice COVID-19 safety measures. In conclusion, as cases continue to increase rapidly across the country, the safest way to celebrate the holidays is to celebrate at home with the people you live with. Gatherings with family and friends who do not live with you can increase the chances of getting or spreading COVID-19.
Well, asante sana Modix for that. And right now I have someone who can just help us understand where did we go wrong? What decisions did we do that were right? And I am joined right now with Mr. Alex Awiti, who is the founder of Alexander PR and Communication. Hi, Alex.
Hi, Sarah.
How are you doing? The festivity season this time is a bit different. I don't know about you. Wewe kwako imekuwa na difference. Yeah.
This is going to be an interesting year.
Yeah.
I think this Christmas, if you're alive, you just got to thank God for an opportunity to be alive.
Yeah.
Because COVID has actually taken a number of our friends, our relatives, and even the medical care community have also lost their lives. It's been a very sad year.
Tough year.
It's been a tough year with even a bad economic year. So we're just thanking the Lord for allowing us to be alive up to date.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
So it's just a year of being grateful for, an opportunity to be alive. So if you cross the year and you arrive in 2021, just say thank you.
A very big thank you for that matter. And all this is because of COVID that has actually affected our country in so many different ways. But I want to ask you, Alex, do you think so far, have we made the right decisions on how to handle COVID?
I think a pandemic usually comes with its own challenges. And usually there is decisions that are made on trial basis, depending with how this COVID-19 has actually affected us. When we started, we started with, observing the protocols that were put in place, for the different places that we were in. We even faced, partial lockdowns, and we had to stay at home for quite some time. And at some point, we now had to learn how to live with it. And we even realized at some point there was denial that it was even in existence.
Yes.
People were arguing, is this thing really there? Until you see a friend or it gets next to you, a relative is lost because of COVID. I mean, now we've seen all those faces of this pandemic. But I believe that the decisions that have been made, some have been good, some have not been good on either way.
Yeah.
So it's been a trial and error because it's a pandemic since 1918 that we saw the Spanish flu, take over the world, and now this one has become even a more serious situation that has made the world, think about the kind of decisions that now we are taking as far as social life is concerned, how we go to work, how we relate with one another.
Yeah. And you said that some have been good, some decisions have been good, some decisions have been bad. And I wanted to highlight some of these decisions that were bad and have actually, in one way or another, affected Kenyans. What are some of them?
I would start with more recent decisions that I've seen.
Yes.
For instance, in the U.S., when during Thanksgiving, a lot of people went out there to do Thanksgiving and join friends and relatives, and we saw that the numbers went up. People continue getting infected with this virus.
Yes.
And it was such a bad decision, because the pandemic is still out there. You cannot take a risk to start doing your Thanksgiving parties and thinking that the situation is normal. Remember, now we're also facing winter. These are going to be challenges that have been there. We've seen the CDC director for the US saying that this thing is going to be very serious because it's claiming over 2,000 lives a day in the US.
Yes.
So back at home here, we decided to take our children back to school, look at the situation that we've seen today. Kids are getting sick, teachers are getting sick, some are dying.
Yes.
Those are decisions that I think were regrettable, if you ask me, because people are going back to school, the protocols that were put in place and the resources to support those protocols were not even there. Some schools don't even have masks, they don't have sanitizers. I mean, it was just bad. Our medical doctors have perished because of this COVID-19.
Yeah.
Doctors have been out on the streets complaining, can we have our PPEs? Yet at KEMSA, we are having a number of PPEs stuck there. And
Just
we're wondering
lying on
what
the
are they doing in the,
stores. Yeah.
what are they doing in the stores when our medical health care people need to have them so that they can support the lives that are still there. So there are certain decisions that have been made that have not been good, and I would request the government to sort of like rethink about them and re-implement them in a better way, because we cannot afford any one life is so important to be lost.
Any one life is so important. And looking back at just the number of health workers that have been affected, and we just highlighted a little bit about the PPEs and what they're requesting from the government. Now, do you think maybe as a government we need to do something about our health sector? Because losing more than 300, 400 healthcare workers, that is a large number, you know?
I would say that is a serious indictment on our government. We've seen monies come in from various institutions, grants that have come in to support us in fighting COVID. And these amounts of monies, they've been lost in corruption and deals that we've seen, and we are yet to see even prosecution on some of these matters. It's such a serious issue. It's such a serious issue that the government should rethink on how it's handling this issue of COVID. Our healthcare workers should not die because one has to recycle a PPE to sort of save a life, a COVID life. I mean, that is so serious. So we want a situation whereby these protocols needs to be relooked, and let's provide the resources that are required so that we can support this COVID issue. I mean, why do we even need a BBI campaigns when our people are dying? Why do we want to spend 14 billion on a referendum when our people are dying in the hospitals? The medical workers, the people themselves, the citizens are losing their lives. It's lack of priority at this point. So our government needs to be serious. That's the bottom line.
Our government needs to be serious.
And take the life of each and every Kenyan very serious. In the Constitution, every life is very important to be lost. Yes, we cannot afford to be losing lives when resources are being channeled to things that are not a priority at this point in time.
Okay. I get what you're saying, Alex, but I want to take you a little bit back to the section of education. And our children are reopening schools in just a couple of days. And I'm thinking, is it a right decision to make? Because earlier on we said after the first reopening, we still have some students and pupils who've tested positive of the virus. Is it safe for all the other children to now report back to school?
I do not think that. Okay, most people have argued that we need to learn to live with this disease.
Yes.
But the most important question is: are we providing the necessities to live with it? Are we providing the proper infrastructure? Are we providing the proper kits that are required for our kids to go back to school? When we are seeing teachers collapsing and dying, we saw that situation.
Yes.
When we are seeing kids collapsing and dying, I mean, this is a dire situation. Is the environment ready for our kids to go back to school?
Yeah.
Every parent, I'm a parent, every parent is questioning that. We must have an environment where we feel that our kids are safe to go back to school. But we should not just rush everything. I mean, when the Spanish flu happened, the world had to wait almost 2 years, 3 years to resume. What is so important in taking back our kids to school when we know that we are exposing them
to the virus?
Disease? Yet we are losing lives every day. Mutai Kagwe, the CS for Health, is talking about the numbers increasing.
Yes.
In fact, he's intimated that in one of his press conferences, saying that probably the numbers might even go up in January. So if the Ministry of Health is seeing such a situation and we're saying, okay, let's continue taking our kids back to school, yet we can see the situation that is there. Remember, the infrastructure for schools is not even supportive. Some of the schools in the interior areas can't even afford masks.
You're talking about masks, and some of them don't even have the school desks, the social distancing. Now that project ilikunywa maji, apparently.
Yeah, and you see, You see, with this, with our new system, with the new education system that we're having so many kids in school, especially when you look at the public schools. Right now, the private schools have even shut down.
Yes.
So what we're saying is that the back-to-school strategy needs to be relooked at, and we have to provide the necessary resources to ensure that our kids and our teachers are safe in school. Let's not just tell parents and kids, go back. Number one, even in terms of financial resources, some of the parents are not going to afford to take back their kids to school because they have lost jobs. They can't support themselves economically. What is the government doing to ensure that the go back to school strategy is one that is safe, that has adequate resources, and every teacher is equipped and every kid is equipped that they cannot lose their lives because you are recycling a mask, for that matter. We've seen situations whereby kids have to recycle masks. And we know the dangers that are there in recycling those masks. So I think it's very important to relook on the strategy of go back to school. That is my appeal to government.
Wow, I love that. Now, right now we are facing a second wave of this virus. The first wave came, we had something close to a very still and a flat curve, and then it came back again. Do you think maybe there is something we could have done to avoid facing a second wave of the same virus in the same year, apparently?
I think the medical expert has already warned us about the wave 2 that was coming. Government definitely allowed people to go back because there was an uproar in terms of businesses not performing, and mostly we saw when people went back to the bars and they were drinking, those numbers went up.
Yes.
There was some level of carelessness that came about with reopening the bars and people going back to those bars. And it proved so disastrous. We've even seen a situation whereby the committee, the religious committee, has even said that for people who are going for weddings, the numbers should be around 50.
Yes.
Meaning, we are even seeing the numbers are coming down in terms of the social events that we are having. That's how serious it is. Yeah. That is how serious it is. So we need to, relook on some of the decisions that we've made. So long as we can deny ourselves. I think there's no need of people going to the bars.
Yes.
Why do you need to go to the bar when you know at the end of the day that you're going to reinfect somebody, or because of drunkenness for some reason you're going to spread this thing?
Yes.
Yeah. Let people stay at home and follow the protocols that have been put in place by WHO and our government. Yes.
All right. And I want to ask you this question. Do you think the president is torn between making sure that the economy is stable and people are safe? But we'll answer that after this short break. So if you have any questions, any comments, or any additional information that you want to add on the discussion that we are having today, use the WhatsApp number 0786316316, SMS line 20316, as we listen to Brittany Cole with the song Jingle Bells Rock. Well, that is Andrew Peterson. The name of that song is While the Shepherds Watched Their Flock, playing right here on Family Radio 316. And that reminds me, that is just a very interesting story to read about the birth of Jesus Christ. We are live on Family TV, also live on Family Radio. My name is Sarah Otieno, and we are having the conversation about COVID-19 and how it has affected our country. And I still have Mr. Alex Awiti on the line, the founder of Alexander PR and Communication. Alex, we were talking about the president just before we went for the break, and I just want you to explain to me, do you think the president is actually in a place where he has to make a decision between protecting the lives of the people and the economy?
This issue has really perturbed most presidents across the world. Whether to, safeguard lives while allow the economy to continue. It's been a tough decision, but developed countries have been able to, provide incentives and funds to families, but it's been a struggle.
Yes.
America spent close to $4 trillion in terms of just supporting its citizens. In Kenya, we spent quite some billions of shillings on it.
Yeah.
And we've struggled through it. So it's not been an easy thing, whether to allow the economy to go on. For instance, when you shut down bars and shut down hotels, the hospitality industry as a whole, you lose billions of shillings in terms of taxes and revenues. But at the end of the day, what is critical is safeguarding the lives of your citizens, because a government cannot operate without citizens.
Yes.
If you lose all your citizens,
Who will
at
pay
end
the
of
taxes?
Day, who will pay the taxes? Who will you govern?
Yes.
At the end of the day.
Yes.
So it's a catch-22, but it's the most important is to try and strike a balance, allow part of the economy to run, at the same time, safeguard the lives of your citizens.
Well, yes. Alex, we still have cases of COVID. We still have the numbers being high. Do you think maybe there is a possibility of a third wave, especially for our country?
Looking at what, at least the positivity that's coming out of it is that there are vaccines that currently are being discussed. We've seen the UK approve the Pfizer vaccine.
Yes.
That's a good direction. The world of the medical vaccine technology, the world of medical vaccine technology is advancing every day, day by day. They're working day and night to ensure that this vaccine is out and that we might have a continuity come 2021.
Yes.
But what I'm thinking is that it will be important for Africa to also fight for itself and see how quickly can we access the vaccine so that we don't suffer for another second wave. I know some of the people have intimated that in places like the US, there might be people who are gonna die more than people died in the Second World War. So
that's sad.
That is how serious, yes, that's how serious this issue is. So the vaccine provides an avenue for us to continue with life, to safeguard ourselves, but it will be important for Africa not to wait until end of 2021 to get the vaccine. Everybody else is scrambling, is fighting. Let's have vaccine for ourselves.
Yes.
African governments need to find a way to ensure that there's somebody who is developing this vaccine for ourselves. We can't wait every day. And that's why it's important to improve our health facilities, to improve our health institutions, including the research institutions that can even go ahead and produce these vaccines. We've advanced. We've equally advanced medically in a medical professional way. Why can't our people also be given resources to start producing that vaccine so that we don't wait to be given? We are tired of Africa begging. Every time we're the ones begging people to give us, help. We need to be self-reliant. This COVID-19 has taught us a lot of things. But one of the most important things that we have learned is to be independent, to be self-reliant, not to allow things from outside there to affect how we do things. Okay. We can't wait for the rest of the world to decide on what our decisions are at home. Let's be self-reliant.
I like where we are heading, and I'm thinking this is just one of the things that we are supposed to do to actually reduce these cases of COVID-19. So maybe on the government perspective and also on an individual level, maybe just in pointer form, what are we supposed to do? Because we all need to protect ourselves and reduce the cases of COVID and especially the mortality rate.
My appeal to people is let's continue following the protocols and guidelines that have been provided by the government and WHO. We should not assume. I've seen people, when I go to my shags in Awasi, people are still walking without masks. People are not sanitizing,
And especially,
people,
I came across...
social distance.
I came across some people in my village, and every time I was having a mask on, they were looking at me as if mimi ni mzungu. To them, kukosa mask is just a norm. And this is unfortunate.
Putting on a mask is not a bourgeoisie thing. It is something to protect yourself. And safeguard yourself. We have parents who are over 60 years old, some are 90, some are 80. Then imagine you're going home, you've not followed the protocols, you're going to kill your parent. You know, you're going to. There are small kids, younger kids out there. I mean, these protocols are not the safeguards for government. It's for us.
Yes.
It's for us as individuals to ensure that we follow this guideline. I mean, even the parties, you don't need to do birthday parties, you know. You don't need to invite, because we are trying to keep as safe as possible and ensuring that our immunity is at the highest level so that we do not affect those we love and those who are close to us.
Yeah.
So it is as important as citizens to follow those protocols and become responsible. Just think about, you go home, you've not followed the protocols, and then one of your relatives dies. How will you live with that guilt?
Very unfortunate. Very, very unfortunate.
How will you live with that? How will you live with that guilt? You know, it's something that we need to think about. So before you think about how you're going to infect those people next to you, think about how to safeguard yourself and think about my actions. What are my actions going to do if I don't follow the protocols?
Wow. I like that. Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Alex, for actually sharing with us some of the things that have happened. You know, someone said 2020 is just a confused year, but now we've come to the end of that year. But we are really grateful. We're really grateful that you could be able to share with us today.
I'm grateful for having me, and I'm praying for everyone else to stay safe. If you're going for festivities, please just follow the protocols. Social distance, sanitize, you know, put on your mask, and safeguard those you love.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay.
And I wish you a happy festivity season.
Oh, and happy festivity season to you too, and your family and your loved ones. Wacha tuendelee kujiprotect from COVID-19.
Correct.
All right.
Correct.
Thank you so much. Have a beautiful evening.
Thank you for having me.
Okay. That song is from the Annie Moses Band. The name of the song is Carol of the Bells. We are live on Family TV, also live on Family Radio. And after having that discussion by Alex Awiti, what else do we want? What else are we waiting for? We need to remember that as much as we are having this festivity season and all that, COVID-19 is still with us. So make sure you have your mask on and wear it correctly. I came across someone who was wearing their mask in the chin. Also remember, it's very bad and unhealthy to do that, because you just keep transferring germs from your chin to your nose and to your mouth, and this is not advisable by the health practitioners. Maintaining social distancing, avoid social gatherings if you can, and also if you must attend them, make sure you ensure your social distancing and also you have your mask on. Wash your hands as often as possible. Sanitize, 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 because COVID is still here with us. And as Alex has said, we all need to play a part to prevent another wave of COVID from attacking our country. It does not only attack our health system, also our economy, also our social life, and we need to take care of this. So take care of yourself as you take care of the people around you, and also taking care of your loved ones. My name is Sarah Otieno, and thank you so much for tuning in to the show today. I will see you another time. Have yourself a good night.
And more of our shows, log on to www.familymediaonline.com to enjoy a wide variety of programs, from current affairs to testimonials and features, pastoral and inspirational shows, kids entertainment, and so much more. Also stream live on www.familymedia.tv.